Men of Reddit, what is the most screwed up thing a woman has done to you? Broke up with my girlfriend 2 weeks ago. We were in this weird limbo stage where she was basically done with me and I was trying to talk things out. Worst part was that she would emotionally manipulate me into thinking that I was emotionally abusive. I've seen multiple counselors who have confirmed that she was the emotionally manipulative one. Not only that, but anytime I brought up my feelings she got angry at me for having them. IDK still trying process this breakup. Hope you're on your way to healing. This has happened to me as well. My ex even went as far as to tell her parents that I was harassing and trying to force myself onto her. I checked things out with a friend and a counselor and they agreed that she was very manipulating and manipulated the situation into her hand. I went through a very similar scenario recently. It's important that you move on and cut her out of your life. It will be hard to do and it will hurt for a long time, but it is the best path forward. People like that care only for themselves and not for anyone left in their wake. I was dating a girl in high school. I know the term gets thrown around, but she was a head case, like definitely had actual problems. Anyway, I break up with her finally. I hadn't seen or spoken to her in weeks. I wake up one morning and I go on Facebook and apparently someone damaged her car, slashed tires, scratched doors, etc. She tagged me in the pictures and basically insinuated to everyone that it was me. Show up to school Monday and it was all anyone could talk about. Mortifying. Was your name ever cleared? $20 says she damaged her own car. I denied it of course, but who knows what anyone believed. I certainly did not have a reputation as someone that would do anything like that, so I like to hope no one took it seriously. One thought it would be a great idea to tell me a guy was outside her house with a knife threatening her all to get my attention. She and her parents weren't too happy when cops, an ambulance, and a fire truck showed up at her house at 11 at night, sirens blazing. The sheriff called me about 20 minutes later and to get a statement from me, and she was taken away in handcuffs. I'm curious what the repercussions were for her. Last I heard she had transferred schools as this happened when we were in high school. Our Pussipus has your answer. If she got arrested then this is more like our Pussipasti need. What did she think you were going to do? Got pregnant by my friend when I was in Iraq. Mine banged my boss when I was an instructor. We should start a subreddit for this. A sub to bash our trash exes? Count me in. I just got downvoted. Thanks here, lol. Upvotes to balance it out tosses you the garlic for protection. Even better if you pour out a bag of rice, she has to stop and count all the grains. Good way to stall her. Sending you love mate. No one deserves that BS. I appreciate that man. The woman I married and was building a life up with turned out to be a manipulative narcissist who ended up cheating on me with several guys. Another messed up thing was that she manipulated the guy she was cheating on me with as well by convincing them that she was a struggling single mother whose husband had abandoned her and her daughter. Told me that it was her or my cat. I choose my cat. I'd choose the cat as well. I don't like cats, but I like ultimatums even less. Easy decision. Anybody I would choose over my cat, which are very few in number, would never ask that question. Cheated me on Christmas. Haven't talked to her since. A girl spread horrible rumors about me because I refused to sleep with her at a party and everyone bought it. Dating a girl for almost a year, totally in love with her, then she tells me that she started talking to her ex over FB and that she's moving across the country to be with him. Then a couple months later I get a text from her saying she had an abortion. I felt horrible about it, mostly because I felt bad she had to do that alone, and I was a little upset that she just nonchalantly told me via text. I was more than willing to go fly out just to be there for support. Then another month later she tells me her ex is crazy and she's moving back, while giving hints of getting back together. Moves back and then gets married to some guy she just met. It was a long drawn out thing that drained me over the course of a couple years. Tell me to move across the country to be with her, but she wasn't able to stop banging her study partner when I was staying with her. She lied about having cancer so that I'd pray for her. I'm atheist. Did you pray for her though? Heavy manipulation via guilt tripping, keeping me in a relationship I'd clearly wanted to leave, and then cheating. Seems pretty common, honestly. I don't have a lot of experience with women. The only woman I got with robbed me. So you've met Cardi B. How was that? Had a girlfriend with borderline, who was among other things ridiculously suicidal. She kept calling me in the middle of the night crying and saying goodbye, and so on while waiting for a train at the nearest train tracks around 1 to 2 times a week minimum. Talked her out of it, or drove up there, and dragged her home like a million times. At least it felt like a million times. In the end she cheated on me with some other dude and of course is still alive to this day. Hands down the worst time of my life. Since meanwhile my dad also died a terrible death of cancer. I learned why people say don't stick it into crazy the hard way. Absolutely changed my life and personality forever. Made a fool out of myself, and just looking back I still cringe. Lied about being pregnant. Hacked my social media. Called my mother and lied. Called my house a million times. Threatened to put a hit on one of my friends, extorted money from my mother, attempted to blackmail me, and stalked my social media including Reddit. Married me, but then to make up for it, she divorced me, so we're even. I had a fiance break up with me on Christmas Eve. Then somehow, we get back together, get married for 3 years, then come home from work, to find my stuff in the back of someone else's truck. I had come home early to surprise her. I even brought flowers. The only thing missing was rain and a sad violin playing in the background. Dude, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. My condolences. Kicked me in the nuts then yelled that she cheated on me with my best friend. Neither me or my best friend knew we had the same girlfriend. We both dumped her directly. My nuts hurt a whole week. And we were 14. Broke up with me 4 days before homecoming dance which she knew I was really looking forward to. It was my first one. And told me she never loved me. Wasn't even given a reason why until like 10 months later. That she had a crush on a girl. But TBH I don't really buy it. Stopped talking to me when I asked her out. However she still messages me once in a while when she wants to. But refuses to respond to my messages. So she sends one, it's okay. I send one, or respond, I get blocked. Then unblocked and she sends a message again a few weeks later. Basically only uses me to rant. Doesn't want me to respond. Took advantage of me mentally and sexually, so I'd keep paying for her apartment and car. It only lasted a year, but I haven't been the same since. Something in me broke for good thanks to her. I have a friend whose long distance girlfriend told him that she was pregnant. I guess she pulled it off because she was already really fat and he didn't see her very often. I didn't ask him much about his private life, but I'm pretty sure they fought a lot and he only stayed together because he's always wanted to be a dad. I know at some point they had a big fight and she told him she was having twins. My friend was both terrified and overjoyed, but when the due date came and went, he started to get worried that he hadn't heard from her. We assumed that she'd taken his twins and split, but eventually he found out that she'd been lying the whole time. He pretended to be happy, but he was actually devastated. TLDR. Friend's girlfriend lied about being pregnant with twins, then disappeared right before their due date, leaving him to worry for weeks before he found out the truth. Cheated on me with over 15 people in 6 months, with 3 being in one night and 1 being one of my closest friends. Moved away with my child without leaving a forwarding address. After splitting with a girl she came over, got angry and swung a money tree at me. My ex got mad at me, we were still together, and she left because she had to cool off. I went to bed, and while I was dead asleep she rained a huge haymaker down on my eye. Really confused for about 5 seconds, and that's when I kicked her out. Packed everything up between 1 to 6 AM, and then told her to not come back. Never seen her since. I had a crazy girl I had split up with tell me she was pregnant, and it was mine. Then 2 weeks later she told me she was going to abort it. I don't think the child was mine, but I never found out for sure. I'm a beta male who has only been into relationships. Rate myself about 2. 10 fat boy. I had a massive crush on this girl. Let's call her E, and she knew nothing about this. My ex finds out, let's call her C. C now logs into my Snapchat because she still had the login details after I asked her to keep my streaks once, and then asks E out on a date to a coffee shop. E doesn't realize she meant date and thought it was just a chat. What makes it worse is that I was in school at the time and we were on a school trip to Cardiff. E realizes C meant a date and then immediately rejects me once I found out about it. C did this because she knew I would immediately get rejected by E and C would have a better chance of sleeping with me again. But she went off with another guy anyway. Was seeing a lifeguard at the local water park where I also bartended at here and there. She was so upset that I wasn't ready to date anyone that she went to management and got me blacklisted from working there in a downtime that I wasn't working there. Not me, but this pathological liar some guy I knew dated claimed she slept with all his friends, guys and girls included. Another friend replied to this accusation, I did? Was it good? My ex-girlfriend scheduled a concert and dinner date with another guy just 3 months into the relationship, but she told me she was going with her girlfriends from college. She created fake texts of her friend inviting her and sent me screenshots. I found out the truth by chance, and when I brought it up with her, she said that she hid it from me because she was scared that I would take it the wrong way since they were just friends. I think Biz Markie wrote a song about exactly that. I honestly wouldn't have cared if she had just been honest, but that was the beginning of the end for us.